Right now, after a gun battle during rush hour on the Beltline, we are asking city leaders what needs to happen to keep innocent bystanders safe.
And a woman living near Stoughton is concerned about multiple sex offenders moving to her neighborhood.
Plus, Verona Area High School is making safety upgrades before students return to the classroom. What they're doing after issues with fights last year.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
We start with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. UW-Madison police say they've arrested 3 people in connection to multiple thefts from vehicles on campus.
In each instance, police say they entered unlocked vehicles and got away with electronics, cash, credit cards, and other personal belongings. UW police have arrested 20-year-old Trevon Pearson, 19-year-old Mario Chandler, and a minor. Police recovered a handgun and multiple stolen items from those suspects and their vehicle. The suspects face theft charges. Pearson also faces charges of being a felon in possession of a firearm. None of the suspects are affiliated with UW-Madison. That investigation is ongoing.
Also breaking tonight, a political protester facing charges for buying radioactive material online has rejected a plea deal. Jeremy Ryan's attorney says he intended to use the material to take his own life. A guilty plea would have given him a time-served sentence, meaning he would not serve any time in prison. Now, according to federal court records, Ryan now has a week to respond as to how he'd like to move ahead with the case.
New at 6, the Rock County Sheriff's Office had to evacuate after a man brought an explosive device there. According to a release, the man found an explosive earlier today while cleaning his mother's garage in Janesville. Not sure what to do with it. Officials say the man loaded it into the front seat of his car and drove it to them. Once the deputies realized what was in the car, they blocked off the area and evacuated their offices there, afraid it might explode. Officials say the Rockford Bomb Squad will properly dispose of the device at a later date and time. Police are still looking for the suspects involved in this morning's gun battle on the Beltline. Witnesses telling police they saw someone standing through the sunroof of a Dodge Durango firing shots at a Chevy Malibu.
We're learning tonight the gunfire hit an uninvolved man's pickup truck. He says his son was with him at the time of the shooting. Jamie Perez joins us from the Beltline with the latest on this investigation.
Now, police say there were a lot of people around when this shooting happened. Now, witnesses tell police that a Durango driving on the Beltline shot at a Malibu here before the Durango exited off of Rimrock Road. Now, police were eventually able to find and locate both of those cars, but say that the suspects are somewhere still out there. Police say they were able to find a shell casing from one of the shots fired. They believe there were about 6 shots fired from the Durango and a couple from the Malibu. Police were also able to find a bullet hole in the Malibu when they finally were able to locate that car on their West District. Witnesses told police that some had seen the cars driving recklessly, playing cat and mouse near Monona before this happened. This is just the latest in a series of gun-related incidents in the past few weeks in Madison. Police spokesperson Joel Despain says these incidents should concern everyone, but they are working to get violent gun users off the streets.
What we're seeing are a lot more guns on the street than we did a couple of decades ago. And people are resolving their disputes instead of a fist fight or something similar to that. They're shooting at each other.
Madison PD is working with multiple agencies around the area to prevent gun violence from continuing, but they acknowledge that there is still work to be done. Now, police say they are still reviewing surveillance and traffic cam videos for any additional information, but if you were out here and you witnessed this, police need to hear from you to help in their investigation. They're asking you to call Crime Stoppers. In Madison, I'm Jamie Perez, News 3 Now.
The Beltline shooting isn't an isolated incident. Shootings are happening frequently around Madison.
Including incidents where innocent people were caught in the crossfire, but as Gabriella Becerra shares, city leaders are fighting to find a solution before this becomes deadly. Gabby?
City officials are acknowledging the shootings taking place across Madison, as well as recognizing the fear from the public that has either been caught in the crossfire or come close to it. They say it's time to take action.
We're way past the point of concern. We're at the point of action.
Alder Paul Skidmore says gun violence is affecting more than just the people with the guns.
That bullet doesn't know where it's flying, and it doesn't care.
He says gun control is only a fragment of the solution, and making new laws won't completely fix the problem, but says supporting the Madison Police Department is a start.
The city council and the mayor is behind public safety. We're behind the police department to stop this.
Skidmore says that needs to come from the mayor's office.
We need to change the culture that allows this to happen We need to change the culture on the city council and in the mayor's office to say enough is enough. We have to end this.
Mayor of Madison, Satya Rhodes Conway, did not respond to an interview request.
To hear that these kinds of incidents are happening in our city, this cannot become the new norm.
CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County says the city needs to mitigate risk and identify issues before they happen.
We have to do a better job as a city making sure that we have guns off the streets and that the people who have access to guns like that are not causing harm.
Skidmore says if they don't act now, nothing will change.
It continues. It's got to stop. It has to stop, and it could get a lot worse.
Alder Tag Evers says changes need to be made to gun laws. He says he supports gun control bills, including the universal background checks bill introduced by the governor.
All right, Gabriella, thank you. Warm this weekend, but a few shower chances. Let's check your first alert forecast now with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
We had some showers earlier. Those have moved off to the east. The skies have really started to clear out, and the air has dried out just a little bit. A visible cloud track, you can see the thicker clouds now shifting into northeastern Wisconsin, and the rain is pretty much out of southern Wisconsin. Some showers and thunderstorms moving out over Lake Michigan around Sheboygan, but nothing really out to the west of us. Low temperatures this morning started out in the upper 50s to low 60s as the air was a little bit drier. Temperatures right now are in the mid to upper 70s, few places close to the 80-degree mark. Humidity levels have dropped a little bit in the Madison area, but they're starting to head back up again out to the west of us. So tomorrow will be a warm and humid day after low temperatures in the lower 60s. Look for high temperatures tomorrow in the lower 80s. There's a chance of a shower or thunderstorm late in the day. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Kenosha police have arrested 2 adults in the death of an infant who had been missing for weeks. Police say a search yesterday found evidence that the body of 2-month-old Jaleesa Adams Friesen was dumped in an open field. A 21-year-old woman and a 36-year-old man are being held on suspicion of hiding a corpse and harboring and/or aiding felons. A Fond du Lac man could spend the rest of his life in prison after shooting someone 16 times in the back of the head and torso. 21-year-old Nigel Schultz pleaded guilty and admitted to shooting 36-year-old Bradley Gerke of Beaver Dam. Schultz said he did it because Gerke was going to turn him into police. His conviction requires a mandatory life sentence, but a judge can authorize a release date anytime after 20 years. The Dodge County District Attorney is recommending he never be released because he says shooting someone 16 times, quote, cannot be an accident. Schultz will be sentenced in January.
Officials say a fire at a West Side hotel started because someone was trying to put out bed bugs with a cigarette. This happened at the Extended Stay America on Junction Road just after midnight. When firefighters arrived, a manager reported a mattress that caught fire had already been brought outside, but there was still a significant amount of smoke in the third-floor hallway. Automatic sprinklers put the fire out. There were no injuries. A woman outside of Stoughton is worried about another sex offender moving near her. Amy
Reed joins us now to show us why the woman says the way that the state places sex offenders needs to change. Amy?
Yeah, this is the third sex offender placed in Stoughton in the last 5 years and the second within a mile of Chris Knickmeyer's home. But this one will be right next door. He's also classified as a sexually violent person. And she said the home, which sits up on a hill, has a view of the whole neighborhood. It's also within 1,500 feet of a home where a 7-year-old lives. Chris said the placement is legal, but she and her neighbors didn't get any say in what might be good for them, especially since there are already offenders in the area.
Really evaluate where you put these sex offenders, not just it works for the state, but what works for the taxpayers, what works for the neighborhood, what works for the community.
We reached out to the State Department of Health Services, which is in charge of placing violent sex offenders, help figure out why so many have been placed in this area. They didn't immediately get back to us for comment. They did direct us online, though, where the state says people placed into the programs like the one this man is in are monitored, and there are regular visits to their home and work to make sure that they are obeying the terms of their release.
Governor Tony Evers has signed an executive order to create the Office of Sustainability and Clean Energy and declare a goal to move Wisconsin to 100% clean energy by 2050.
Creating a clean economy isn't just about mitigating and adapting to climate change. It's about producing our own energy to reduce reliance elsewhere.
The governor has also directed the state to develop a carbon-free energy plan and to fulfill the goals of the 2015 Paris Climate Accord that President Trump withdrew the U.S. from in 2017. The state will also develop renewable and energy efficiency standards for all state facilities. Verona Area High School is updating its safety and security plans ahead of the start of the new school year.
Well, this includes an updated fight intervention protocol after a large fight at the end of last school year. Amanda Quintana is here with the details. Amanda?
Yes, back in May, there were 3 fights in just one day at the high school where 3 students were arrested and an ambulance was called for 1 student. Today, in a letter to families, the principal outlined a list of new things to expect this upcoming school year, including 3 security guards, a new fight intervention protocol with trained staff ready to step in, an anonymous tip line to submit safety concerns through an app, phone, text, email, or online, and a proactive visibility team, a group of staff that will increase supervision when they hear of conflicts brewing among students. The district is also trying to change the language used for family members who are called to school after a conflict with a student and work to provide information to families sooner, even if it's incomplete information.
All right, Amanda, thank you. Next at 6, a warning about a Wisconsin-made beer that could explode in a central Wisconsin coffee shop using a unique process to make creamier, richer ice cream.
And there is more local news ahead. The state of Wisconsin says it found violations at the Rock County Human Services Department after an investigation into a teenager's death by suicide. We'll have more on News 3 now at 10. New at 6, a Milwaukee-based brewery is recalling one of their brews because there's a risk it could explode. Lakefront Brewery is asking people with My Turn Junk beer to refrigerate it or carefully dispose of the bottles. According to a Facebook post, the wild yeast from the cherries used to brew the beer may continue to ferment, building up pressure in the bottle. The beer itself is completely safe to drink. For anyone who tosses the beer, though, the brewery is offering a refund. We have that information on our website, channel3000.com. A central Wisconsin coffee shop is experimenting with a new kind of ice cream.
It comes scooped, rolled, or soft serve, and now the Wausau shop is experimenting with liquid nitrogen. The Big B Coffee franchise says the process is all done from scratch right in front of customers' eyes. It starts with a base milk fat, add in the flavors like real mint leaves for mint chocolate chip. Then you add liquid nitrogen and mix it all together.
One of the biggest things is we can't actually see the ice cream, so we're actually listening to hear a particular sound to know that we've frozen it enough into a nice, good ice cream.
The process results in a smoother, creamier ice cream with no ice crystals in it, and it's all fresh. No preservatives, additives, or food coloring. Quick Trip holding a company-wide open interview day next week. The Wisconsin-based chain looking to hire more than 2,000 workers to keep pace with new store growth. They also need more people to help expand its popular fresh food and take-home meal options. Anyone 16 and older is invited to interview on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at all Quick Trip stores all across Wisconsin.
There's a back-to-school outreach program happening tomorrow in Reedsburg at the Touched Twice Clinic. Your student can get a backpack filled with school supplies that match their grade level. Guests will also receive a box of food from Second Harvest, a haircut, a hot meal, and can pick out secondhand clothing. It is a first-come, first-served event starting at 10 a.m. at the Reedsburg Area Community Arena.
We're looking forward to a warm weekend, but you might need your umbrella just a bit.
Gary shares when we can expect showers next in your First Alert forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now from the backyard patio. How's it going out there, Gary?
Actually, it's pretty nice out here. The humidity levels have dropped just a little bit compared to earlier this afternoon. We've had a wind shift from the south to the west, but the humidity will come back later on tonight, leading some areas of fog, and then also be with us for much of the weekend. You can see the thicker clouds now shifting into northeastern Wisconsin and out over Lake Michigan. Southern Wisconsin right now pretty much in the sunshine. You can see on Doppler track the last of the showers and thunderstorms moving out over Lake Michigan, and things are pretty quiet across our part of the state. And you can see in the upper Midwest, things very quiet out to the west of us. So I'm not expecting any rain for tonight and for much of the day tomorrow. It'll probably be late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night when we see the best chances for showers and thunderstorms. The Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms out over Lake Michigan and into Michigan for those departing storms. But tomorrow the severe weather threat shifts back to the south and west. Late afternoon, early evening, we could see some thunderstorms with gusty winds and heavy rain, but they're not going to be very widespread, at least around here. And the higher severe weather threat will be to our south and west. By Sunday, the severe weather threat shifts to the south and east because our best chances of storms will be late tomorrow night into early Sunday morning at a time of the day where the atmosphere is a little bit more stable. But rainfall could be another issue. We could see some areas pick up an inch or two of rain, but it'll be spotty in nature. You know, some areas could pick up less than a quarter of an inch of rain. It just depends if you're caught underneath one of the heavier thunderstorms. Otherwise, live view from the Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville showing lots of sunshine out over southwestern Wisconsin. The WISC Sky Cam showing mostly sunny skies here. You can see how the clouds have pretty much cleared out from earlier. The Edgewater Sky Cam in downtown Madison looking toward the southeast also shows some of the thicker clouds on the far eastern horizon. High temperature today, 80, the low 63, very close to the averages of 80 and 59. Right now our temperature is 78 degrees. The dew point temperature has dropped to 60. It was in the mid-60s earlier as those winds have shifted to the west at 9 miles per hour. Current temperatures are in the upper 70s to the lower 80s, a little warmer down to the south across northern Illinois. Dew point temperatures have dropped around 60 in the Madison area. The higher dew points have shifted off into eastern Wisconsin, but notice to our south and to our west, those dew points still in the mid to upper 60s. That moisture will come back pretty quickly later on tonight. As we take a look at weather track, the shower and thunderstorm chances have shifted off to the north and east. The next batch of precipitation starting to develop in the Montana, western Dakotas area, and then also some thunderstorms in Colorado. Those two weather systems will combine and give us a pretty good chance of showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow night. Has to get through an area of high pressure located out in southwestern Minnesota and western Iowa. That'll keep us quiet for tonight and much of the day tomorrow. Temperatures upper 70s to the lower 80s. The really hot temperatures down in parts of southern Kansas into Oklahoma and Texas. But the dew point temperatures, like I say, have dropped off a little bit here, but the higher dew points are not too far to our south. So on future track, you can see how we stay quiet for tonight. A batch of showers and storms heads to our south. But then by late tomorrow afternoon, maybe a chance for a shower or thunderstorm. The better chances arrive tomorrow night into Sunday morning. That's 7 a.m. Sunday. And then you can see how those move off to the east. Skies clear out. Might see a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm Monday and Tuesday. But then we'll see a more significant break in the heat and humidity toward the end of next week. For tonight, partly cloudy skies. Mild, some patchy fog possible, low temperature at 61. Tomorrow should be dry for much of the day. Partly sunny, warm and humid with a high of 83. Chance for a late afternoon shower or thunderstorm. On future track, things very quiet for tonight. Low temperatures, lower 60s. Highs tomorrow, lower 80s. You can see a chance for a shower or thunderstorm popping up late in the afternoon. But the better chances will arrive later tomorrow night. The heavy rain potential is a little higher then, but the severe weather potential is down. And then those move out Sunday morning. We're back to sunshine Sunday afternoon with highs in the mid 80s. Again, precipitation amounts, maybe an inch or two in some spots. Many locations around a ½ inch in general. Temperatures stay in the mid 80s through Monday and low 80s on Tuesday. Then the humidity drops for the middle of next week. We'll see a brief warm up for next weekend.
Well, the Badgers making some progress on naming a starting quarterback. We'll have that story next in sports. All right, so even though the Packers lost to the Ravens last night, what did we learn? Well, Deshaun Kaiser and Tim Boyle could use a little more consistency. Number-wise, Boyle fared a little bit better than Kaiser. And as for Aaron Rodgers, will he play against the Raiders in Winnipeg? He has said that he wants to, especially for the Packers fans in Canada. But Coach Matt LaFleur says TBD. He said sitting Rodgers out yesterday was more precautionary than anything. We'll have more from Coach LaFleur later tonight at 10. The battle for quarterback continues throughout camp, and today, Paul Chris said he'll most likely decide who will be at QB1 after Monday's scrimmage, but he said he's sure not going to tell any of us that information. So we will have to deduce the best of that information to our ability next week. Jack Kona has been getting most of the first team reps, naturally since he is the most experienced one, but he's been getting some good participation with all of the receivers.
It's been good. I say just to build chemistry with, different guys and different receivers. Just getting reps with different players has been huge. They're all my good friends, and we spend so much time together and do so much together that it's really good and it's fun to be around them. So it's definitely a great group.
Okay, so we're 2 weeks from kickoff, and this week Sports Illustrated put out a list of the best traditions in college football. Well, there were 10 of them on the list, including Rolling Toomer's Corner at Auburn, Howard's Rock at Clemson, and the turnover chain at Miami even made the list. Now, I don't really know what the criteria was to be the best tradition, because left off of the list, jump around. That fourth quarter staple is 21 years old this season. And I'm just saying the turnover chain didn't really seem that impressive in Miami's last 2 bowl game appearances. Just saying, that's all. It's been a while since Matt Kenseth has raced at Madison International Speedway. The last time he was here on his home track, 2014. The Cambridge native was a regular fixture at MIS, racing there weekly from 1993 to 1995. He was the track champion in 1994, before he went on to a storied NASCAR career where he was Rookie of the Year in 2000 and won the championship in 2003. He stepped away from racing full-time after the 2017 season, but says it always brings back good memories to race at MIS.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you know at the end of the night, how it feels, but it's fun just to come back here. I mean, it's fun to, to drive in here, and we did it, every Friday night during the summer for so many years, and obviously the time goes by really fast, and kind of brings back a lot of memories from getting your car ready to go on Friday and getting it loaded up and driving out here in the hauler and getting ready to race every Friday night. So you kind of brings back a lot of that. So it's neat to get back out here.
And in case you missed it, the Little League World Series started this weekend. Representing the Midwest, a team from Coon Rapids, Andover in Minnesota. That team won its opening round game against Kentucky today, 2-1. They've advanced to the second round play and will play Virginia on Sunday. Guys, I can't believe Jump Around was left off of that list, though.
That sounds
what
like
are
a pretty
thinking?
lame list. Yeah. The turnover chain makes it, you're right, it invalidates the whole list.
Exactly, I'm just saying is all.
Yeah, that's a tradition that cannot be missed, the jump around. Gary, final check.
Temperatures right now pretty comfortable, mid to upper 70s. The winds have shifted to the west, so the air has dried out. Dew point temperatures have dropped into the lower 60s. High temperatures tomorrow and Sunday will be in the 80s. In fact, we'll be in the 80s through Tuesday with some shower and thunderstorm chances. Then we'll dry out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with less humidity and a brief uptick in temperatures next weekend.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.